How's it going? David here. Well, it's Friday, so what does that mean? It's Financial Fridays. So this has been popping up in the news quite a bit recently. Blackstone mortgages. Now, the way the housing market works, I'm sure you've at least know some things that the housing prices are super high, just super high. And that all works supply and demand. It's pretty simple. The less supply there is, the more demand there is, the prices go up because people have to bid. My girlfriend's a real estate agent, and sometimes she has to go $100,000 over the asking price. And the asking price is just basically you put your house up on Zillow or whatever, and you want, say, 700,000, whatever number it is. It's going like $100,000 over that. It's just crazy. Now, Blackstone Mortgage is basically, here we go, it's on the stock exchange. It's a trust you can get into. And basically it's just Wall Street. And what they're doing, what Blackstone is doing, is they are spending tons and tons of money buying up single family homes and renting them out. Because in the end, the way they look at it is like, look, okay, yeah, we have to put a huge upfront cost in the beginning, but then we get to rent it out and we have that guaranteed income for a long, 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 long time. And recently they just bought $6 billion worth of homes. Now, they didn't actually buy the homes. They bought a company. It's called Homes Partners of America, and they owned over 17,000 homes in the U.S., and they bought that company. So essentially, they bought 17,000 homes. And the average home price was around $350,000. I want to say it was mostly in Texas, at least this deal. I can't exactly remember. But yeah, so they're betting that they can just buy up all these homes and rent them out for a long extended period of time, pretty much forever, and just get that guaranteed income coming in. And I think in this deal they tend to go to mostly newer homes, because older homes you might have some more issues with. So newer homes you don't have as many issues with. But here's the issue. Here's the problem. Is when you buy up all these homes, it ends up raising the price of all the other homes around it, which means average people soon can't buy homes. So they have to rent. And this company is planning on doing this, and other companies are, being made. They're doing the similar things. And eventually what's going to happen is basically super rich companies that are just looking for, to boost their stock. They don't care about the person. That's not the deal. They're just buying these homes so they can boost their stock prices so they have guaranteed revenue forever. And what they're trying to do is make a nation of renters. And that's like a scary thought if you think about it, is we're at some point their dream, because there is a corporation, they're not human, there's a corporation. Their dream is to make everyone just rent from them. And then they can command any price they want and whatever, which then pushes people out of bigger cities. And they pretty much, it's like, well, I want to own a home, so I have to go live in the middle of nowhere, but my job isn't there. Luckily, more people are moving towards working from home. So that's kind of good. That will kind of offset that. But if they're constantly buying up and everyone just has to rent, no one will own a home. And the number one factor of wealth is real estate. That is like the number one factor of how you're going to do in life, is basically through real estate. They've added up all, different millionaires and billionaires, and that's like the number one key factor is real estate. So it's very important to build wealth, and generational wealth is to own real estate. Now, if you're just a normal person and you buy a home, right? You live in it, I think the average is like 5 years, and then you sell it and then you move on, right? So it goes to the next person, right? You make a little money, moves hands, yada, yada. Maybe you don't. Maybe you live in for 30 years, or maybe you live until you die and you pass it to your kids, and your kids either live in it or they sell it. But it's always changing hands, right? It's coming into the market, holding it by one person, and then going out. But now, if all of a sudden these people are just buying them and they're never going to see the market again, What does that do? It just raises the price of all the other homes. It makes it harder and harder for other people to get in, which makes it, you're just like, well, I guess I just have to rent. And pretty soon, everyone just rents. And the problem with that is, and then all of a sudden, is this going to be major corporations controlling where you live and how much it costs and everything like that. And just, and it really, stifles increase in your income and your financial position in life. So, I mean, you can look at the stock, and I was actually surprised. They give a dividend of 7%. So, I mean, if you want to invest in them, not bad, right? And this is year to date. Let's look at last year. Last year, right? You get 7% dividends, and it's increased. Let me go up to here. And it's increased by 37%. That's not bad. Normally, dividend stocks don't increase that much because they're paying out 7% to their shareholders. So, not a bad stock to invest in. But, again, you're kind of screwing over like average Americans by helping this company. So if you go back like 5 years, I mean, they were doing pretty well, like 47%, but then obviously COVID happened and they dropped by, 62%, but they're climbing back up. So that's the thing that this kind of sucks, is this company and other companies like that are basically pricing people out of homes. And that is why homes are going up so much. Most people will think, hey, we're in a recession and, the economy is terrible. Why are home prices going up so much? Well, a lot of inflation, a lot of other things, factors going on. But one of the reasons why is that, these companies are buying up all the homes, and so they're not on the market. The supply is gone, but the demand is still there, so people literally have to pay more for the home. So, and on top of that, they're paying way over asking, right? So it's like if you're as an average, family or whatever trying to buy this home, and you're stretching out your budget to get this house, whatever, say $700,000, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'll take it, and then Blackstone comes along and goes, I'll give you $800,000. What do you think the owner is going to do? Who's selling it? He's going to take the $800,000. And they'll come in with all cash. They don't have to deal with, a lender and all that kind of stuff. So it ends up pricing out all these people, and then they're like, okay, whatever, I'll just rent. And you just keep doing that, and eventually you just have all renters. And then homes are just owned by corporations. So, I mean, I don't really agree with this. It is a company, and this is what they do. And this kind of sucks because you can see the writing on the wall that, there's going to put. And look at this. As the stock price keeps going up, and then other rich companies are like, we should make a division where we buy real estate and just rent it out, right? Because they can afford to. And then that's, pushes more single families out of owning homes. So I've always said you must own a house, own that house. So because not only does owning your house increase your value, but it also helps you control your future, right? So that's the basis. You want to be in control of as many things as you possibly can in your life because, it just makes life easier. And you don't want to be beholden. Like my dad, this is a perfect example. My dad was renting, and the landlord just now all of a sudden decided to he lives in Texas, raise it $500 a month in rent. Just like that. It went from $2,500 to $2,950. So he has no choice. He either has to move, which he hates moving, or he has to pay it. And he's forced. I told him that he could live here because I'm probably going to move out, but getting him to move is like impossible because he's just like, oh, it's so much work. And he's like 65 or something. But yeah, now he's beholden to his landlord that's always going to be raising the rent and whatnot. So that's why I'm always saying buy, and then you lock in that rate, and then you lock in your rent for forever. And then after a while, you pay off your home, and then you own it, and then you're fine. Like, you don't have to worry as much. Like my dad, now he has to like worry about where he's going to live and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, I just thought this was super interesting. And, I think you should look into it a little more. But anyways, I hope you like this kind of stuff. If you do, think about subscribing, and have a good weekend, everyone. All right.